Yo, what's going on, everybody? So, I wasn't even going to make a video about this, but it's one of those thoughts that just kept sitting in the back of my head for a while. I didn't want to be one of those people who just complains about dating like it's the end of the world. But the more I watched how people move now, the more I realized something actually changed. And it's not even just dating apps, it's not even just social media. It's the whole energy around love, the whole process of meeting someone, talking, building something, trusting them. It feels colder. It feels more shallow. It feels like everyone's on guard. Everyone's trying to protect their ego and nobody wants to look like the person who cares more. And when that's the environment, love starts feeling like it's dead, or at least like it's not what it used to be. And I'm not saying love literally doesn't exist. Obviously, people still fall in love. People still get married. People still have families. People still find their person. But it feels like getting there is harder now because everything is built around evaluation instead of connection. It's like you're not meeting a human being anymore. You're being assessed. You're being compared. You're being ranked. You're being filtered out before you even get a chance to show who you are. And that's where the superficial part comes in, because when dating becomes a ranking system, the first thing that matters is your appearance, not your character, not your values, not your loyalty, not whether you're actually a good partner, your face, your body, your vibe in a photo, your aesthetic. And yeah, looks always mattered. I'm not pretending they didn't. But the difference now is that looks don't just matter. They dominate the whole thing. And when you live in that environment long enough, you start adapting to it. That's what humans do. You adapt. And one of the biggest adaptations I've seen, especially with guys, is looksmaxxing. Because looksmaxxing is basically the internet's answer to the feeling of being invisible. It's the internet's answer to guys feeling like no matter what they do, they're not getting picked, they're not getting noticed, they're not getting respect, they're not getting any traction. So they go online and they find this whole world that tells them, yeah, bro, it's your looks. Fix your looks and everything changes. And honestly, that's a powerful message because it feels like control. It feels like a solution. It feels like a blueprint. It feels like the truth nobody told you. If you don't know what looksmaxxing is, the basic idea is you maximize your physical attractiveness to improve your dating and social outcomes. That's the simple version. And the thing is, the first layer of it isn't even crazy. The first layer is just self-improvement, like gym maxing, getting in shape, lean maxing, getting your body fat down so your face looks sharper, skincare maxing, clearing your skin, hair maxing, fixing your haircut and your hairline situation, style maxing, learning how to dress like an adult, sleep maxing, actually resting so you don't look like a zombie, even stuff like posture maxing, fixing how you stand and walk so you look more confident. That part is normal. That part is honestly good for most people. The problem is what happens when you go deeper into it. Because looks maxing online isn't just get healthier. It becomes this obsessive, hyper-analytical thing where people treat attraction like it's math. Like there's some formula. Like if you just optimize every variable, you'll finally be worthy of attention. And that's where you start seeing the girias and the weird terminology that makes it feel like a cult. You'll see people rating themselves on a scale and calling it PSL. Like, I'm a 4.5 PSL, maybe a 5 in good lighting. You'll see people talking about facial harmony like it's a scientific law. You'll see dudes analyzing their mid-face ratio, their jaw projection, their chin, their cheekbones, their brow ridge, their eye area. People talk about canthal tilt like it's the difference between life and death. They talk about hunter eyes versus prey eyes like you're a predator in the jungle. They talk about mogging like it's a real thing you do to someone, like you're trying to dominate them just by standing next to them. And I'm not even exaggerating. There are guys who will take a selfie, stare at it for an hour, and break it down like they're doing a forensic investigation. They'll be like, my jaw is weak, my chin is recessed, my under eye area is bad, my cheekbones aren't forward grown, my face is asymmetrical, my nose is slightly crooked, my hairline is cooked, it's over. And then they spiral. And what's sad is that most normal people in real life would never even notice half of these flaws. But once you're in that mindset, you can't unsee it. You start looking at yourself like you're broken. That's the trap. Looksmaxxing starts as self-improvement and turns into self-obsession. It turns into this constant feeling that you're not allowed to be confident until you fix everything. Like confidence is something you earn after you become perfect. But that's not how confidence works. Confidence is built through action. through experience, through doing things while you're still imperfect, through social reps, through failing and realizing you didn't die, through learning that you can handle discomfort. If you sit in your room obsessing over your face, you're not building confidence, you're building anxiety. And here's another thing. Looksmaxxing culture creates this illusion that there's a clean line between winners and losers. Like if you're attractive, life is easy. And if you're not, life is impossible. And that mindset is poison because it makes people stop trying in areas that actually matter. It makes people ignore social skills. It makes people ignore personality. It makes people ignore building a life. Because if you believe your face determines everything, why would you work on anything else? Why would you improve your conversation skills? Why would you build a career? Why would you build confidence? You just sit there thinking you're doomed until you become a different person. And what's funny is even the guys who do improve, even the guys who actually glow up, they often still don't feel secure. Because once your self-worth is built on being rated, you never feel safe. There's always someone hotter. There's always someone taller. There's always someone with better genetics. There's always someone with better lighting, better angles, better photos. So you never relax. You never feel like you're enough. You're always chasing some moving target. Now, I'm not saying looks don't matter. They do. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Looks matter in dating, especially at the beginning. The issue is when looks become the only thing that matters, or when people start treating looks like destiny. That's when love starts dying, because love can't survive in a world where everyone is constantly comparing and upgrading. And this is where the love is dead feeling really comes from. Because dating today feels like you're competing in a beauty contest and a job interview at the same time. Everyone's trying to look like they're winning. Everyone's trying to look like they have options. Everyone's trying to look unbothered. Nobody wants to admit they want something real because caring feels like weakness now. Being serious feels like cringe. Wanting commitment feels like you're desperate. So people act detached, they act cool, they act like they don't care, and then they wonder why nothing feels real. And social media makes this 10 times worse, because social media trains you to see people as content. Your feed is literally just an endless stream of attractive faces, perfect bodies, perfect lifestyles, perfect relationships. Even if you know it's fake, even if you know it's curated, your brain still absorbs it. Your brain still compares. You start thinking that's normal. You start thinking everyone else is living this perfect life and you're the only one struggling. You start thinking your partner should look like an influencer. You start thinking your relationship should feel like a movie. And when real life doesn't match that, you feel disappointed. People don't talk about how destructive that is. Because it's not just, oh, you're insecure. It literally changes your expectations. It changes your tolerance. It changes your patience. If you're used to endless novelty, you get bored faster. If you're used to constant stimulation, real connection feels slow. If you're used to perfect curated people, normal human flaws feel unacceptable. And that's why relationships end over nothing now. People break up because they're bored. People break up because they feel like they're missing out. People break up because the honeymoon phase ended and they think something is wrong. They don't understand that love isn't supposed to be fireworks forever. Love becomes real after the excitement fades. That's the part people don't want to deal with. And it's not just women doing this, it's men too. Guys will say they want a loyal, kind, supportive woman, and then they chase the most toxic, high-maintenance, validation-addicted girl they can find because she looks like an Instagram model. Then they get played and act shocked. Women will say they want a good man, and then they chase the most emotionally unavailable dude because he's tall and has aura, or whatever. Everyone is chasing the image, not the person, and looksmaxxing feeds directly into this because it tells men, your worth is your looks. Your success is your looks. Your love life is your looks. And that creates a culture where men are obsessed with optimizing themselves like a product. They're not trying to become a better man for a relationship. They're trying to become more marketable, more clickable, more desirable on the surface. And again, some of that is fine. It's good to take care of yourself. It's good to improve. But when it becomes obsessive, it kills your ability to connect because you're always performing. You're always thinking, how do I look? Instead of, how do I show up? And the deeper you go into those spaces, the more you see how it destroys people's perception. You'll see guys calling themselves ugly when they're completely normal. You'll see guys acting like they're doomed because they're 5'8". You'll see guys convinced they're invisible because they don't have a perfect jawline. And it's like, bro, you're not doomed. You're just online too much. You're comparing yourself to the top 1% of genetics and filters. You're not seeing reality anymore. And that's the other part people don't talk about. Looksmaxxing communities often create this distorted idea of what women even want. They'll act like every woman is only chasing the top 1% of men, like every woman is the same, like personality doesn't matter at all. And that mindset makes guys bitter. It makes them resentful. It makes them hostile. And when you move like that, you become unattractive even if you look good, because nobody wants to be around someone who feels like they hate the world. The truth is, attraction is complicated. Looks matter, but so does energy. So does confidence. So does social skill. So does humor. So does how you carry yourself. So does whether you make someone feel safe and understood. But those things are harder to measure. Those things take time. Those things require real interaction. And we built a dating culture that doesn't want to slow down enough for that. Everything is fast now. Fast judgments, fast swipes, fast talking stages, fast ghosting. Fast replacement. Nobody wants to work through awkwardness. Nobody wants to build trust. Nobody wants to deal with conflict. They want instant chemistry and instant validation. And if it's not perfect, they're out. That's why love feels dead. Because love is slow. Love takes time. Love takes patience. Love takes forgiveness. Love takes commitment. And we're living in a culture that rewards impatience, selfishness, and ego protection. And I think that's why people feel so jaded. They're not crazy. They're not imagining it. Dating really does feel more superficial now. It really does feel more transactional. And when you combine that with looksmaxxing culture, you get this environment where everyone is obsessed with appearances, everyone is insecure, everyone is comparing, and nobody feels safe enough to actually be real. The sad part is that the more you chase perfection, the less you experience real love. Because real love isn't about finding the perfect person. It's about finding someone you can be imperfect with. It's about building something that lasts through boring days, through hard days, through normal days. And that requires people to stop treating relationships like a product they can return the moment it stops being exciting. So no, love isn't dead. But it feels dead because the culture around it is built on shallow standards and constant comparison. And looksmaxxing is one of the biggest symptoms of that. It's people trying to survive in a system that makes them feel invisible. It's people trying to gain control in a world where they feel powerless. But if you go too far into it, it doesn't save you. It just makes you more anxious, more obsessed, and more disconnected. And honestly, if there's any solution here, it's not to pretend looks don't matter. It's to keep looks in the right place. Improve yourself, sure. Get in shape, sure. Fix your style, sure. But don't turn yourself into a project you never finish. Don't turn your face into a problem you're trying to solve. Don't let the internet convince you that love is impossible unless you're perfect. Because the people who win long-term aren't the people who look flawless. It's the people who build a life they're proud of, who have confidence from experience, who know who they are, and who can actually show up as a real human being. Because at the end of the day, if you want real love, you need real connection. And real connection can't exist when you're constantly performing, constantly comparing, and constantly thinking you're one upgrade away from being worthy. You're already worthy. You just have to stop living like you're being judged by a scoreboard. Anyway, that's my take. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. Take care.